Welcome to Sales Secrets from the Top 1%, where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success. My name is Brandon Bornancin, a serial salesperson and entrepreneur, and I'm sitting down with the world's best sales experts to share their top secrets to sales success. Hello and welcome to this episode of Sales Secrets from the Top 1%, where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success. And I am thrilled, honored, humbled, and grateful to have with me today, Wes Schaeffer. You may know Wes as the wildly known sales whisperer. He's an avid storyteller, author, keynote speaker, sales expert, marketing guru. He's Sales Whisperer as the name of the business where his team helps businesses close more B2B sales faster, easier, and at a more predictably scalable margin. As a detail-oriented Air Force veteran and father of 7, thank you for your service, sir. He is a proven inbound marketing, CRM, and sales guru. Since 1998, Wes has never earned under $100K, 6 figures, and he strives for achieving goals that are more impactful for many others globally. And in 2006, he went out on his own to train salespeople and rehabilitate sales managers and owners. Wes is the author of 3 books, which I love: The Definitive Guide to Infusionsoft, It's More Than a Big Smile, A Good Idea, and a Twitter account to build a business that lasts. Awesome title, by the way. And The Sales Whisperer Way. Wes, thank you so much for joining us today. That was a long-winded intro. How you doing? Thank you.
Man, it must be the East Coast. I'm still waking up here, man. That's quite some energy.
Yeah, no. So it's the cold weather because we just got nailed with snow.
You got to move around and get the blood going.
Yeah, I got to move around to get the blood going. And I was doing a bunch of boring stuff before this, so I'm like, oh yeah, I get to stop writing. I was writing Knowledge Management Center articles, and if you know anything about that as a salesperson, that will bore the hell out of you. Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you. The audience is dying to know 2 things, my man. You know, you've done all these amazing things throughout your sales career. You've earned 6 figures and more. You're basically your whole life. You know, the audience is dying to know, Wes, what is your number 1 top sales secret? But don't share it right this second. Before we get into that,
we gotta wait till the end, man.
We gotta save that for the end. The secret sauce.
Break.
After the commercials, we got to save that to the end. But before that, the audience is dying to know number 2. Who is Wes Schaeffer? What is your background? You know, where'd you come from? How'd you get started in sales? How'd you go from serving to selling to becoming a 6-figure earner to now becoming a 3-time sales author, keynote speaker, you name it. So with that, and then the secrets, right? Everywhere that you've worked, you have massive successes and failures that create these micro secrets, okay? So what are those micro secrets from those experiences throughout your career? So take us from a journey from the beginning, and then we'll go up to the top to the present.
That's a lot of questions, man. You're going to have to keep me on track, all right?
Oh, yeah. So where are you from?
Those along the way.
I'll help guide you. So where are you from? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go to school?
I grew up in the South, Baton Rouge and Houston. I was recruited to play football at the Air Force Academy. So
nice,
went up
That's
there
awesome.
in 88. Graduated in 92, went to Texas A&M, got another degree. And then I served 5 years in the Air Force as a meteorologist. So tell them the weather, baby.
Nice. Like the weatherman. When you're doing that, are you doing like broadcast to everyone or radio, or how do you do that?
Well, in the military. So, I would have to brief the different crews depending on the base. And we had a little closed circuit television. So yeah, we'd do a little on air stuff at one of the bases, but a lot of it's just behind the scenes stuff. Deployed a couple of times to the UAE out in the Middle East, and then got out in 97. I'd been married a couple of years. We had a baby, another one on the way, and I jumped out of the service right into commission sales as a stockbroker.
Oh, nice. And again, thank you so much on behalf of the audience for your service. We appreciate you and everything that you and everyone out there is doing for this great country. And so how did you decide that you were going to go into you knew you wanted to get out of the service and you knew that you wanted to go into sales? Like, was that by accident? Was that purposely? Like,
No, it
how'd
was
you
by
come across it?
design. Yeah, I was money motivated. I mean, I grew up without money. Um, and I wanted to be paid according to my production, not just my time and grade. And I was willing to take the risk. And I was interested in money and finances. I'd been investing for years on the side. I'd gotten a couple of my securities licenses while I was still in the Air Force. So I kind of laid the groundwork, to jump into that. And so it was, with a wife, a baby, and we had another one on the way. We didn't realize it. So I knew I had to jump before I got too entrenched and too comfortable, really. Too many liabilities, too many responsibilities, and I think that freezes some people in place. And so I wanted to move before I got frozen.
Got it. Yeah, but before you had all these responsibilities and you were stuck doing what you were doing forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So stockbroker, and it was funny because I've got like half my sales team in town, and they're staying at my place. So they had the Wolf of Wall Street on last night, and we're actually interviewing Jordan Belfort for the book, which is going to be a hell of a show. When you said your first job as a stockbroker, so like, how'd you get that role? Like, why stocks versus anything else? Like, walk us through a little bit there.
It was referrals. I knew people, and actually, I made a mistake doing it. I grew up in Houston, went to high school there. That's where my network was. That's where my referral was to go work. But I was living in Biloxi. I was about an hour from my dad in Mobile, and he put the old guilt trip on me, come live closer, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, to Alabama.
He knew some people, and then with the same organization, but a different office. But it was just totally different, and it was a nightmare. And I lasted 6 months in that job before I ended up in a 3-year lawsuit with them.
With the stock market company?
Yeah.
Wow, a 3-year lawsuit, dude. Yeah. What went down? What like, so just give us a high level overview.
Well, they had paid me. They had agreed to a 3-year salary contract. It declined over time, but it gave me a little bit of runway to ramp up a business. But because these people weren't my friends, right? They took me on as a favor to the Houston office where I knew the people. And it was not pleasant. And my dad knew a guy that worked there. They went to church together, actually. And on the Friday before I started on that Monday, that guy, Randy, called me up and said, "Hey, I just quit. I'm going to another office." So I showed up with no sponsor, right?
Brutal.
The managers come in, they see me in the lobby. They're like, "Hey, wait for the secretaries. They'll show you where you're going to be." So I sit there. They put me in an office so I can study. End of the day, they have a company meeting because they're going to divvy up Randy's accounts, because that's what they do, right? Like a bunch of vultures. Like, what can they take? And 15 people in the room. They didn't even introduce me. Like, "Hey, see the new guy down there?"
That's a dick move, man.
I'm like, this is bad.
It's just weird because, like, as the CEO of a sales company right now, right? I want everyone to be successful. I would see a new sales guy like you, and I'd be excited that you're on the team, and I want to maximize your potential, and I want you to crush it, because if you crush it, I win, and the company wins, and our customers win. Why didn't they have that mindset?
Who knows? It was very much a good old boy system. This was late 97. It's the deep South. It's the good old boy system. And, I didn't have the pedigree, didn't have the connections.
Weird.
I don't know.
So you got there, this bad culture or whatever. How long you were there? For 6 months, and then you're like, I got to get out.
Well, I didn't want to get out. They came to me after 6 months and they said, "Hey, we forgot to have you sign this contract." And I was like, "What is that?" And it said that I owed them 3 years or $36,000 for my training, right? And even though I showed up with 2 of the licenses and because typically it takes 6 months to get licensed before the utility finance committee, whatever they are, right? In the stock brokerage world, they want you to know what you're doing. So there's a 6-month training period.
Yeah,
right?
that's what your Series 7 or whatever.
Right. And so, but because I already had my licenses, as soon as I got the 2 they wanted me to get, I was able to immediately sell. So I had about a 6-week ramp up instead of a 6-month ramp up. And they wanted to give me this boilerplate agreement. And I'm like, I'm not signing that thing. You know, I was already there. I left the Air Force and moved, you know, and now we know we're pregnant with a second child. And they're saying, sign this thing. We forgot to have you sign it. I said, if you'd have shown me this before I came, I wouldn't have come. You know, I'm like, I'm not putting myself at risk. What if I don't make it? What if the stock market crashes? And it did crash, right? And I'm like, I got to go mow lawns to feed my family. I'm not going to make myself liable. And they're like, sign it or turn in your key. I said, well, here's my key. So I was on unemployment when my second son was born.
Brutal.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, right. It's awesome, man. Yeah, there you go. That right when you said that, I actually thought of Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, because Elon Musk went on his show and he was smoking pot for the first time.
What is this?
I think you and I are better podcasters than Joe Rogan. By the way, I told him I'm coming. I told him I'm coming for his number. Okay, so
the problem is Joe Rogan can kick our butts. So.
He could whoop our ass. I can run faster than him though, so he would have to catch me.
I mean, I've been training a couple of years. I could probably fend him off for 30 seconds, maybe.
Dude, I'm not gonna fight him. I'm running away.
He's got that spinning kick. It's, oh my gosh, I would not want that foot in my ribs.
So now you're out of a job. You've got the two baby boys, or
Yep.
That's awesome. I just guessed there, by the way. I had no idea if it was girls or boys, so I nailed that. That's awesome. And congrats, by the way. Your wife's probably freaking out because now you're unemployed, and you're more importantly, you're probably like, shit, now what? So what was going through your thought process? Were you like, I'm going to get another job in stock brokerage, or what'd you do?
I was recruited by a couple of companies, but I was just, it ruined my, you know, when they say the bloom was off the rose at that point, I did not like the industry after that. So I didn't want to get back into that. And
yeah,
I didn't
the
want
whole
to
stock industry, you were just like, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, it was dirty. I just didn't like it. And but yeah, I thought I wouldn't have any problem getting a job. I went to a couple of job fairs, there's these companies that recruit military people, and I was untouchable. I was unemployable. It was hard to explain why I was out of a job after just 6 months. So,
I was going to say, because I love employing people from the military, just because, like, their service, their commitment, their hard work, their tenacity, their attitude. Like, I've always had a great experience with it. 0% churn from hiring people from the military. So, like, I'm a fan. But you're saying because you were only there 6 months, it looks like, man, there must be something wrong with Wes.
Right.
Okay.
That was it. So, yeah, I replied to a classified ad to sell mobile homes for Oakwood Homes in Mobile, Alabama.
Nice.
And I took the job because it paid about $20 a week more than unemployment.
Wow.
It was a draw against commission. And then my first 12 months, I sold 52 trailers. It put me in the top.
Hold on. How many months?
I'm sorry, 52 weeks. In the first 12 months. So
sold 52.
12 months, 52 weeks, sold 52 trailers.
Damn, a trailer a week?
Yeah. So that was.
How much is a trailer, by the way? Is that like 20 grand, 50 grand?
20, yeah. Average like mid 20s maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere in that range. I've got actually a spreadsheet. I kept every one. I was the only guy in there with a computer. Had my own laptop. I was working it.
No one had computers in there?
No, this is 1998, man. We had one computer. It was a big uh, just a green screen kind of thing that connected back to the main database of the company.
Nice.
But I learned then, if you got the contact info of your prospect and entered it into the database, you were protected. So even if they came later and you were gone and someone else helped them and they bought, you still got 50% of the commission for entering them into the database. If you didn't enter them into the database, you were not protected.
So basically, like legally you were protected, or just like the company was playing nice because they wanted the data?
With the company, right. So if you came in and we met and we spent half the day together and we're just best buds, and you're like,
yep,
hey, I'm traveling, but I'll come back in a couple of weeks with my wife and we're going to buy that one. Okay, great. And then you come on the day I'm off. Hey, where's Wes? So he's not in. Oh, well, I was going to buy this one. What's your name? They look in the database. Oh, we don't have you, but I can help you. I get nothing because I didn't enter you. If I did enter you, I get half the deal.
Done. Love
so
it.
I learned to take copious notes. I learned to be quite timely with my data entry.
I was about to say, dude, you probably love the CRM. Oh, hey, you may be on the market. Done.
Dude, I'm telling you, I put the info in, and I had a memory like an elephant, man. And I'd see my buddies, they'd get so deflated, right? They'd be happy, like walking, like they'd be walking you back, to the closing room. And like, I'd come in, right? Cause maybe I was working the afternoon shift, they were in the morning. I just come walking in. Hey, Joe. Hey, Mary. How y'all doing? Look at little Amy. Oh, she's so cute. They go, Wes knows these people. They're in the system. I'm getting half my money.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. They probably hated that. They probably hated how detail oriented you were with that.
Oh, well, nothing they can do about it.
Yep.
Except up their game.
Not your fault.
I was just following the rules.
So okay, so dude, and you just went with the mobile homes because that was like the opportunity and paid a little bit more than disability, which is great. How did you sell 52? Like, I don't know, what was the average that people were selling?
Well, that put me, there were like 2,200 salespeople in the country, and I was number 26 at the time in my first year.
Wow. 22, and you were
right around top 1 or
26?
2%. Yeah.
It's amazing.
First year.
So how? You know what I mean? Like how and why?
I just followed the system. Too many people, entrepreneurs and salespeople particularly, you get too cute.
Okay.
Think there's a better way. Think there's a shortcut. Right? Oakwood Homes was like a 50-year-old company. They had a very precise selling model. And I had to eat. Right? And
dude, you had two boys, and you and your two boys probably ate a lot.
Well, they were babies, but I ate a lot. I still do. I just worked the system. And the system worked. Now I was also just, some of it's inherent. I mean, I'm good with people. I mean, at the time I just turned 28. 4 years at the academy, 5 years on active duty. I'd grown up a little bit. I knew a little bit about leadership and communication, but still, I followed the system. Didn't shortcut it, and man, I also, like I said, I learned the numbers. Right, I had brought in my own laptop. This isn't like a car lot, right? A car lot would have hundreds of cars. Mobile home lot, I don't know, we had 20 to 30 trailers, different sizes and shapes. So I drew an inventory map every time. So every time we moved one, sold one, I'd update. And, I'm doing like in Word, like drawing boxes. But I had serial numbers, and I knew which ones were the oldest, which ones we could beat. Because the longer you hold something in inventory, it's something called floor planning. So it's interest carrying charges of the lot that they pay the manufacturer. And so I knew which ones we had deals on. So based on your criteria, right, you'd come in, we do a little interview. I knew what motivated you. Was it financing? Was it overall cost? Was it square footage, whatever. So I would take you to the ones that fit your buying criteria.
It was like great discovery, it sounds like.
For sure. Because, yeah, it's like I didn't get paid. I wasn't a tour guide. Right? Oh, let's go look at that one. Let's go look at that one. It's like, you show up on the lot, you're looking at a $15,000 Toyota Corolla. Like, can I go look at the used, that Mercedes you have? No. I know it might be fun for you, but no. Yeah. I don't make money showing you the expensive things. I make money helping you buy the things you can afford.
It's smart.
So I just stuck
and
with
that
it.
was a micro secret, it sounds like. So the smart discovery and then showing them products, so one micro secret, smart discovery, another micro secret, give the customer what they need and based on what they can afford versus just letting them dictate like what their desires are, at least in B2C, because you could have showed them like $100,000 mobile homes when you knew that they could only afford $20K.
Right.
And then you would have wasted a whole day.
Yeah.
And they probably wouldn't have wanted to buy the $20K one after they saw the $100K one. That would have destroyed the deal.
Yeah. Then they just feel inadequate.
Yeah.
They get down on themselves. It's like, I'm here to help you feel good.
That's awesome.
I remember somebody came in and said, yeah, we're here. We want to look at the trailers, mobile homes. I said, look, as long as you're buying, you can call it whatever the hell you want. Let's go look at some trailers. Like, I don't care what you call it. I don't live in one. It's all good, So yeah, so it's a lot of disqualifying. Everybody thinks, oh, just because they walk on the lot, they're a prospect. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's when I learned how many people have really bad credit.
Oh, shit.
I talked to at least one person today that had a bankruptcy, and usually 3 to 5 people.
I bet.
So I couldn't spend just because you walked up. Yeah, let me go ahead and open everything up, take you all around. No. But see, then that's the science, right? But the art is, how do I pull that out of you without offending you?
Right. So another micro secret is disqualifying, you said, and you were great at disqualifying. Like,
for sure.
How? I'm on the lot. Yeah, like I'm on the lot. I just went through a bankruptcy. I'm broke as shit. You got to sell 25K of mobile homes or greater. How would you question me? And I'm not asking you to role play, but in an interactive way, how would you do that? I don't even know how to respectfully disqualify someone.
All of ours were locked. So people, we'd watch them pull up and walk to the first one, go to the next, and after 2 or 3, they come in like, can somebody show us some trailers? They're all locked. People across the street, theirs are open. Why are yours locked? Hey, well, welcome. Come on in. So we lock them for a few.
Thanks for stopping by. It's
like we lock them for a few reasons. One is security. These things are loaded up with appliances, electronics, TVs. We want them protected. Second is we don't have power running to them, so they're hot. We're here in the South. We don't want to run around looking at things, being uncomfortable. And third is we've got a lot of inventory and we can customize any of them. So, if you give me a couple of minutes of your time, let me understand, what exactly you're looking for. I'll take you right to the ones that best fit your needs. So come on in. And I just turn around and walk.
That's awesome.
Take control.
That was a great way. That was a great way to open that up super positively too when they come in.
Yeah, we're not doing all that. So hey, thanks for coming in. But in business, something similar is trying to find out if you're the decision maker. But I can't just step up and just go, yeah, Joe, are you the boss? You're just acting like the boss. You can't do that.
Yes, especially in that situation, it's husband and wife probably.
Could be a husband. Well, you're in business. I mean, I sold technology for years, 7-figure deals. And people they'd call, yeah, we want the specs, RFP, RFQ, RFI, this, that, I'm like, fantastic. Thanks for giving me a call. When you are considering a new hardware platform, when you're considering a new software platform like this, when you're considering bringing in an advisor, a consultant, a speaker, who on your team do you bounce these ideas off of to ensure you're making the best decision? So I promote you.
I love that.
I assume you have a team. It's one of the few times I'll ever assume anything. Okay, because I'm promoting you. So now when you say, oh, it's just me, I'm the sole decision maker, this has all been put on me, I've got buy or die authority. Now, when I give you the quote and you go, well, let me take this to the director, let me take this to the board, be like, hold on a second. At 8:28 a.m. on Tuesday, January 15th, we talked about this, and you had said you were the sole decision maker, but now you tell me there's a committee. What has changed? Okay, because now we're talking about frameworks. And when I have the moral high ground, it's pretty much indefeatable, indestructible. Now you're in a bad spot. Now you got to admit that you lied or that you're lying now. Because maybe it's just the price, whatever, right? So I want to uncover those things, but see how I didn't just come right out and challenge your authority in the beginning.
Yep.
Okay. So
you're doing it respectfully, and you're doing it in a way that opens up the conversation.
Right.
Hey, John, who on your team do you bounce these ideas off of to ensure you're making a great buying decision and not making a mistake over there?
Right.
I always like to also say, and what do they typically say when you bounce these ideas off of them? Are they the type of DM that just hates any new idea? They're scared to change all that jazz, or maybe they're like, I don't care, just roll. Yep. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I never heard of bounce ideas off of, like when you're doing the mapping. I've been yelling at my team, working with my team, yelling at them for the past week about this. They keep trying to sell to the users, and I'm like, you guys got to get meetings with the DMs. That's awesome. Oh, and by the way, I think you uncovered one of it sounds like the top micro secret when you were selling the mobile homes, and then we'll move past the mobile homes. You said, don't be the reinvent the wheel guy.
Mm-hmm.
The person that comes in, gets hired, and wants to do things totally different, wants to do things in a new way. You said, I came in and I followed the process. Mm-hmm. They had a system, and I just executed the system. And at the beginning, you were like a lot of people, they just try to keep improving and changing and improving and changing. And
mm-hmm.
while that's important, it sounds like you mastered the system, you learned the system, you executed it, and then you got great at discovery, qualifying, and disqualifying. What's your advice for people that I hired a new guy recently. He wanted all these new ideas and new strategies implemented. And I'm like, this is like day 2 for him. How do you handle coaching teams or reps in those situations and the benefits of
you got to screen better, right? Don't hire somebody that doesn't color within the lines. Just like kids are going back to school right now, right? But at the beginning of the year, you crack the whip. No gum, no food, no drinks, put your smartphones down, blah, blah, blah. This is my classroom. Now they have a great week. Everybody, so Thursday, it's like, hey, y'all have been great this week. After tomorrow's quiz, I'm going to give you 15 minutes of snack and smartphone time and blah, blah, blah.
Awesome.
But if you start out having fun, you can't rein them in. So when you're screening salespeople, especially salespeople, put the requirements down. If it's a no holds barred, entrepreneurial, you're on your own, do whatever you want, okay. But if this is where most people fail. They don't have systems in place. They haven't documented things. They hustled, they grinded it out, they were passionate, and they built a business. Now they want to scale and hire somebody. But it's like, what do you do? What are the numbers? How do I get this business? You just hustle. I just hustled. Well, you're the founder. You're the owner. This is your baby. I'm a babysitter. Yeah, I'm going to watch the kids. I'm also going to sneak my girlfriend in when you're not around. I'm going to drink your beer. I'm going to pull it from the back. I'm going to pull that bottle of whiskey from the back of it, pour it, maybe put some iced tea in it and set it back in the bottle. Yeah, if there's a fire and if we're right by the door, yeah, I'll drag the kids out. But you know what? If I'm out back smoking a doobie and the flames go on, I ain't running in to get them. Okay? So they're not you. So you better have some criteria. Say, here's what's expected. You know, you will be at your desk at 8 a.m. with the phone on your ear. You will say this to these people this number of times. I have a 5-step voicemail sequence. I have a 5-step email sequence. I have a 5-step direct mail sequence that you will execute on your list, right? And you on and on.
Yep.
You will execute that. Do you have a problem following instructions? Do you have a problem coloring within the lines? Because if you don't do it once, you're warned. You do it twice, you're gone. You want this job or not, right? Nobody, they end up selling themselves. Oh, we're so fun. We have a foosball table, and on Fridays, it's casual Friday, and we drink at our desks starting at noon. It's so swell. Everybody needs our product, whatever. You're done. You're done. You're done before you start.
Yeah.
Right?
So great advice. And basically qualify the new hire.
Yeah, disqualify the new hire.
Yeah, DQ.
Right, I'm grinding them. I'm firing them during the interview, and I want them to fight back. Like, yeah, you know, thanks for coming in. Based on what I'm hearing,
that's a great micro secret. So you're trying to. What do you mean? I love that. By the way, I'm firing them during the interview, and I'm going to see if they can survive and fight back.
Yeah, like I don't. You know, thanks for coming in. I'm not sure this is a fit. Okay, and they go, oh well, well, thanks for having me in, and I appreciate the coffee. Yeah, good riddance. Okay. If you tell me I'm not a fit, I'm going to look at you like, are you looking at the wrong resume? What? Did you hit your head coming into the office? Do you need to lay down? What do you mean I'm not a fit? You know, I'm going to challenge them.
Love
right?
that.
Because that's what you want. Because they're going to be on the phone talking to people like, yeah, I'm not sure if it's a fit. Well, send me some information, whatever. You're going to take that laying down? You better fight back. So are you hiring people with a backbone?
Yeah, I like it.
I want to sift, sort, and separate. I don't want to sell.
Sift, sort, and separate. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking for people looking for me.
Yep.
Okay. I can't force you to buy from me. All right. But I can force myself to go to bed early last night, to not drink alcohol, to not pig out and have meat sweats all night and I'm tossing and turning, right? I can force myself to get up early, do some reading, hit the gym, get to the office bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and early. I can force myself to pick up the phone. I can force myself to go to that Chamber of Commerce function. I can force myself to do some research to see who's going to the trade show, call them ahead of time, tweet them, LinkedIn message them, set up appointments before the event. I can force myself to do those things. And if I do enough of that, I'll make my number.
Boom. I love that, man. And I love that you were so transparent with these reps. Like, hey, this is what you need to do. Boom, 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 boom. And if you got a problem coloring in the lines, then not the right place for you.
Here's the micro secret, right? This could be a big secret. I don't know. You decide. But our number one job in selling is not to sell. Because, again, I can't control it. Our number one job is to prospect. All right? Because just like going to the gym, you want to lose 20 pounds. Well, that's a lagging indicator. You want to lose 20 pounds in 60 days. Well, most people just like their quota, right? Or let's say you want to lose 30 pounds in 90 days. There's your quota.
So funny.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't get on the scale till the day before. You're like, holy crap, I got 15 pounds to go. Well, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's the result. That's like the end game.
Right.
What do you need to do to hit the end game?
I can control not filling this up with sugar and cream and just drink my coffee black. Well, that right there.
Do you drink your coffee black?
I do.
Me too.
Right? That's what, let's say it's 30 calories. I don't know. Per cup. You drink, let's do simple math, 25 calories. You drink 2 cups of coffee, that's 50 calories a day. Well, that's, you multiply it by a week, that's 250, have it on the weekends as well. You're looking at least 300 calories. You multiply that times 4. I mean,
it adds up. It also cuts into your intermittent fasting. Like, you gotta
I can control all those little things. Like if my daughter comes in, Daddy, we made coffee cake. Okay, do I have like half of the coffee cake, and binge, or do I take one little bite to make them happy and set aside the rest? Let my son eat the rest of it. You can control those little things. That's your prospecting efforts. You can control that.
And you said the number one thing that salespeople need to do as a MicroSecret is to prospect.
Prospect. Have a system. Follow the system. If you're winging it, it's tough. People are like, I don't need a script. I don't need a process.
Gosh.
I'm a natural. I feel all cold and robotic when I have a script. I'm like, hey, jackass, how much money did Tom Cruise or The Rock make last year? I think The Rock made like $65 million.
Yep.
What does that dude do for a living?
Reads scripts.
Reads scripts.
Yeah. You're like the second or third person I've ever talked to where I talk about that. I was like, look at Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio. You think he went into that movie and just fucking winged it?
No.
You know?
Yep.
No. Dude's crushing a script. Crushing it. Yeah. Is it hard for you to overcome that objection when you're coaching all these different sales teams? That's a MicroSecret too, guys. Like, get used to the scripts. Leverage them to your power.
I pushed back too when I was an employee because they brought in bad trainers that gave us bad scripts.
Yeah, that's not good.
Okay. And so, but just like an actor, be like, oh, that guy, he sucks. I'm not meeting with him. That guy always had good scripts. I'll meet with him. So you'll figure out like who's good, who's not. But all of life, it's like a fish complaining about being in water. We're walking around immersed in sales and marketing, right? And scripts, hey, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. I see you're wearing a sweater vest. How's the weather there?
It's a little chilly.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of cold here. We got some rainfall. California gets rain in the winter. People think it's always sunny here, but actually where we live, we're running around like robots living off of scripts. Hi, sir, this is Wes at the Sales Whisperer. The reason for my call, immediately.
Yeah.
I answer my phone sometimes. They start on that. I put myself on mute. I put them on speaker, and I set the phone down to see how long they'll go.
What do you see on average? What do you see on average they'll go for?
Oh, if it's like the NRA or some of these fundraisers, they'll go a couple of minutes, man.
Oh, wow. I never thought I typically interrupt them. I should let them roll.
I just let them roll.
You know what I'm going to say from now on? I'm going to say, tell me more. And then they'll do it. And then I'll ask, can you tell me more? I'm just going to keep saying that.
Oh, see, yeah, you can do that. Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Really? How long has that been? Please elaborate. Please explain. Tell me more. Yeah, you can get them going forever.
That's awesome. That's funny. Okay, so that's a secret. Master the scripts. Get used to it. And it sounds like you're saying, like, look, you don't need to read it robotically. Like, if you've got 10 great scripts, make it your own. You could take a good script, customize it a little bit for you, and then it's yours and it's custom and then it's badass.
For sure.
A lot of people, do you see, like, I see a lot of sales teams, I don't know about you, like, they'll see a script, they don't like it, but they don't realize, like, these are different plays or scripts you can customize and change to make sure that you move.
Yeah, but you customize it a little bit, right? It's not like, The Rock is given this thing, you're going to fly a helicopter and break people out of prison, and then he turns it into, Kindergarten Cop 2. Like, no, you don't get that much leeway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you work within the confines of, the message, but you can't adjust something. You don't really know how to adjust something until you master it. Okay? You got to know your multiplication tables. Einstein probably knew 12 times 12 off the top of his head.
Yeah.
Right? He could probably do long division, with pencil and paper without using a calculator. Once you have the fundamentals, people don't realize routines free us up. Okay? I know where my robe is. I know where my coffee cup is. I know where my toothbrush and toothpaste is. I get ready in the dark. I wake up very early. We got a house full of 7 kids.
What time do you wake up at?
4:30 to 5.
You talk a lot about like food and health, which I love. I'm that way too. Like, do you feel that that's a competitive advantage for you, like in sales?
Oh, sure.
Like, what's your diet and routine? Like, you drink black coffee?
I don't have a diet, because I work out 6 days a week, so I don't have to
work out 6 days a week. What do you do? Do you do like a lot of lifting, a lot of cardio?
I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 4 days a week,
Damn.
and I lift 2 to 3 days a week, just depending on how sore I am.
That's amazing.
I'm
And
almost
I saw the
49.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu stuff all over your site and the talks. That's awesome. How'd you get into
A
that?
buddy just nagged me for 6 months to go, and I finally said, I'll go if it'll shut you up.
That's awesome. And I assume, like you were talking about sugar and the garbage, getting put in coffee. You also mentioned so because you work out so much and work so much, and the kids, do you not drink either?
Oh no, I drink.
Well, you're like, I don't like the sugar, the alcohol.
Whole shelf of booze right there.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
but I don't drink a lot. I mean, I'll go 2 weeks and have nothing.
Yeah.
I may have one beer, at night with dinner or something twice a week.
I'm like 90 days into no alcohol as like a
Okay.
productivity hack.
Yeah.
It's been going well. It's good. I mean, I don't have any hangovers, so that's great.
Yeah, it's rare that I drink enough to have a hangover. So
yeah, that's awesome, man.
Meet some friends, have a couple whiskeys,
Chill out.
But yeah,
I just wasn't sure, like the Brazilian. So do you go to tournaments and stuff, or you just go there and fight? Like,
I've done some small tournaments. I'll do some bigger tournaments this year.
It's awesome, man. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
even the small in-house tournaments, they were some of the toughest things I've ever done.
What has Brazilian jiu-jitsu taught you about sales?
I finally have internalized the old saying that there are no failures. You win or you learn. Yesterday
It's a great secret.
Yesterday I rolled with a guy. We are equal in rank. He's younger, he's smaller. But I tried to move and didn't execute it, and he tapped me. Right? A year ago, I would be butthurt over that. I would literally get mad, like not like right then and there, but I would be seething and thinking, I'm bigger than him, But he got me. We laughed. I was like, yeah, I saw this. You did this. I tried that. Oh yeah, good. Okay, here's how we actually drilled it real quick with each other.
Oh, that's
told him
awesome.
what I was trying to do. I said, here's the counter I was trying to do because I saw this. He's like, oh, I never saw that counter. So I taught him something. I learned a little bit, and we bump fist, went again. I mean, I truly did not care, and he doesn't care. Right? He's not like running around. I got Wes. Yeah, it's like we're training, right? And if you're not willing to experiment, because I have a core set of moves that I know I can pull off, but if that's all I do, then that means I've peaked. That means I'm not going to get any better ever again because I'm sticking to 2 or 3 or 4 moves. All right, you've got to be willing to try new things. And what better time than in training? We learned that in football, growing up, in the military. They say the more you bleed in training, the less you bleed in combat.
Oh, I like that. The more you bleed in training, the less you bleed in combat.
Yeah, and it's
is that like role playing, or is that like sales role playing, sales training?
It can be for sure role playing. And again, I hated that. When I was an employee, once again, because they were typically bad. They were giving us bad scripts, things that just didn't resonate. But if you wait until you get a great prospect on the phone to practice your script, you're gonna piss away $100,000 easy.
Oh, it's so dangerous.
Before you figure this out, right? So you better be professional enough to practice, drill, and rehearse, right? And rookies practice until they get it right. Professionals practice so they can't get it wrong.
Okay,
right?
Hold on. Say that one more time. That's another secret. Can you repeat that? I'm taking notes, by the way.
Rookies practice until they get it right.
Yep.
Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Okay. Wow. It takes discipline. It takes passion to drill and drill and drill. Look, I've been training jiu-jitsu now 2 years. We start out everyone the same way. Same little jog around the mat, same core set of exercises. These certain drills we do on the mat for flexibility, push-ups, sit-ups, ab work, stretching. Then we get into the lesson of the day. But you need those core fundamentals. You know, it was 2014. I got to see the band Chicago play. I met the lead singer, Jason Sheff, at an Infusionsoft conference. He bought my Infusionsoft book, and he gave us tickets to the show.
That's awesome.
When they came to town. So some of the founding members of Chicago are in their 70s. Okay, they've been playing Saturday in the Park for 35 or 40 plus years. They could have phoned it in, man. Right? They could have shown up, pounding some scotches, smoking. Saturday in the Park. I think it was the 4th of July. But they didn't. Right? They sounded just like the album. They were professional enough to deliver the same script, right? The same set, same routine as if it was the first time they'd ever done it. And that was the first time that I ever experienced it. Here we are 4.5 years later, I'm still singing their praises of the impact it had on me, that they cared enough to deliver an expert, tier 1, platinum experience for little old me. Because as far as I was concerned, I was the only one in that auditorium. Right? So professionals will practice, drill, and rehearse till they can't get it wrong. Because I guarantee you, they could all play stoned and drunk, right? You could wake them up at, middle of the night, 4 a.m. Here, take this piano, take this keyboard, sing.
Right.
Boom, they could do it, right? You wake me up out of a dead sleep. Boom, I can tell you these things, in sales and marketing. But very few people are willing to stick it out nowadays.
Wow. That's such great advice. And so let's keep rolling. This is great, by the way. I know we've got all these micro secrets. So you did the mobiles. So how long were you doing the mobile home sales to bring it back into like the career?
I did it from April of 98 till December of 99. So I was made a manager in the 1st of July of 99.
Awesome.
And then the company got in trouble, and they started closing factories and stores and declared bankruptcy. So we were in a little town called Corinth, Mississippi, about 11,000 people, no family. We had a third baby on the way, so we had to get out of there. So I moved to Austin.
Oh, nice. You were just like, I got to get out of Mobile.
Well, no. Well, I got moved. Mobile was fine. Mobile, several 100,000 people. I had family there, but we were, 6 or 7 hours north.
Got it.
Little bitty town in Mississippi. No family, because I was given the store, so you got to move where the store is.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So in just over a year, I was promoted to general manager, given my own store. So that was
That's amazing, man. Congrats.
Yeah. Thanks.
And then you had the third baby on the way, and that's when you said, I got to go. I got to go to a bigger city, or I got to get out of this little city, or like what?
Yeah. I just had to go somewhere where there was more opportunity.
Makes sense. Is that a micro secret? Like follow where the opportunities are?
Yeah. You can make your own opportunities, right? But yeah, at that time, so I was 29, 2 3/4 kids. I couldn't be living in a town with no family, because with 11,000 people, there's not as much opportunity. The internet was still really pretty new. There was no social media and all this stuff. I didn't even own a cell phone. So it was just different times. So I just, I wanted to get in the mix. So went to a bigger town.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what did you do after? What'd you do in Austin?
So I negotiated. So before I moved, I had a job. It was with one of those military recruiting companies. So I was a salesman for them.
When you say military recruiting companies, like a company that recruited people to join the military?
No, they were. So this was founded by veterans, and they worked with veterans that were leaving the service and entering the private sector. So we created basically job fair. and I was on the sales side, so I would call on companies. So every 6 weeks we had a conference in Austin or Dallas, and I would call on all these different companies and saying, hey, are you hiring? Are you interested in veterans? Do you know about the benefits of veterans? Blah, blah, blah. Look, we have this hiring conference. It's free to attend. We're going to set up, 3 to 10 to 15 qualified interviews for you back to back to back over 2 days. There's no fee to attend. You pay us, a regular recruiting commission if you hire one of them. So I was on the business side and others were on the candidate side. So they'd be prepping the candidates as they were leaving the service, help them with their resumes, help them with interviewing.
Yep.
So yeah.
Dude, that's incredible. And when it came to, what'd you learn there? What were some of the successes, failures that you had selling for those guys?
Biggest thing there was make your own opportunity. Dallas was my territory, and I learned about this military grad networking group. This guy, he had a weekly or a monthly luncheon. And so I made sure to coordinate my travel. So I was up there each time. And I was like, man, this is really good. I said, how come nobody's doing this in Austin? He said, you should do it. And I was like, me? I'd only been there a couple of months, right? I'm like, who am I to start this? And it's like, that's just it. Who are you not to start it? So I shared a secretary with a couple guys, and we had a database. I said, find everybody within like an hour of Austin. And we had like 400 names.
Okay.
And I said, okay, let's send an email out. I said, hey, everybody, whatever, 2 weeks from now, we're going to have lunch at this restaurant and see if there's an interest to do some academy networking. Like 55 people showed up. And that thing existed for over a decade. I mean, I left.
Wow, that's incredible.
That was 2000. I left in 2004, moved to California, and that thing was going a decade later, So, and funny thing was, I got recruited out of that. I had a West Point grad, attended one of the first lunches, and within 4 months recruited me away to join the tech company.
Oh, that's awesome. What type of tech was that X2 or was that a different tech company?
No, different tech company. It was back then. It was called NetTest, and it's out of business now. They got gobbled up in the whole .com implosion.
Wow. Oh yeah, NetTest. That was like a CRM. Were you you did CRM stuff?
No,
right?
It was telecom. No? It was test and measurement equipment.
Got it.
Yeah. And even then, right, I was like, dude, I've never done this. He said, you're an academy grad. We have a system. Follow the system. You'll pick it up.
So that's where that MicroSecret on just learn the system, follow the system, execute the system.
Yeah.
Why do you think that guy just thought, A, you're an academy grad, and B, like, we can teach it to you? Like, I'm sorry, do you agree with that? Like, if you've got a good system, like, basically, different question. If it's you and another guy in the industry, both candidates, right? I could hire another guy that worked at a competitor or another company like mine or in the same industry, or you who was selling mobile homes and then recruiting. Like, do you think
salespeople are just like mutual funds? Past performance is no guarantee of future success.
That's such a good quote, man.
Just because you did sell doesn't mean you will sell. Okay? So hire for chemistry, hire for attitude, hire for outlook. Okay? They'll pick it up. Yeah, it's nice if somebody has like all this core knowledge of a system.
And you said hire for what? What were those two things?
I don't know. Attitude, aptitude.
And work ethic?
Work ethic, chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry, culture.
A bunch of those things like that.
It was funny, dude. I was still writing down that salespeople are like mutual funds. Past performance does not guarantee. I'm like writing it all down, man, because that's gold. You're dropping some like straight fire gold that I've never heard before. And I'm like, damn, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, you got to hire, because look, most people, like in copywriting, I do a lot of writing for myself. I'll do some for clients, but the great writers will tell you, certainly in sales, that, they write to the 3rd to 5th grade level. People aren't that smart. They're not that attentive. They're not that focused. And there's a thing called the curse of knowledge. We learn too much, and so we can end up talking down to the customers. We'll talk over their heads with too many facts. And so just because somebody has 5 or 10 or 15 years experience in an industry, that could be a negative. They could be set in their ways. They could have learned bad habits. They're too cool for school. They're not going to be a team player. So be careful. But companies will hire someone with experience because they haven't documented their own steps. They don't have a true training and onboarding program.
Yeah.
So they'll use that kind of as a crutch to go find someone with experience. You're far better off in the long run to groom your own talent. Look at football teams, right? Clemson and Alabama. I mean, they're always
Ohio State. Go Buckeyes.
Yeah. They're always recruiting. Right? They're going to take a
kid.
Are
you an Alabama fan, by the way? You probably are, right? No?
No, but I mean, I respect them. They've created something. Clemson, they've created great programs. And, great coaches know they're always recruiting. Okay? And so, but they have an onboarding system. They'll redshirt a kid and give them a year in the system to learn. Then maybe even as a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, they're still just on the practice squad. They're not getting any reps. They give them years to learn. So when they're a junior and a senior, they can contribute.
Why do you think they're always recruiting? Sales teams, I know today I'm not, if I fill the position, I'm not actively building this massive bench. And what you just said made me think oh shit, I should probably change that.
You're always recruiting. It doesn't mean you're always hiring.
But you're building the database of the great people.
Right? Because when you find a superstar, you'll make room for them. Okay,
always.
Look at Alabama, right? He had Jalen Hurts, that true freshman, wins the national championship, and he benches them because he found Tua, Tagovailoa, whatever, right? I mean, he replaced the kid that won the national championship as a true freshman with a true freshman.
It's insane.
Okay, that's guts, but it's confidence. It's having a system.
Why do you think he did that, by the way?
Because it was the right move.
And why was it the right move? Sorry, I haven't spent a lot of time watching the Alabama team, but just he performed better, or the other guy?
So Jalen was. This was so last year, because the seasons overlap on the years, right? But they won the championship one year. A year ago, they were playing Georgia in the semifinals, and Jalen was struggling. So they were behind. They were losing to Georgia. And I've said, the last 2 years, Georgia has beaten Alabama's first string. They couldn't beat their second string. So a year ago in the semifinals, he pulled Jalen Hurts, replaced him with Tua. Tua won the game. Tua became the starter, and then they were playing Georgia. In the championship last year, put Jalen back in. Jalen won the championship. So he's got these two superstars, true freshman, true sophomore, battling for it. But he's confident enough. But you know what? You better have a good system. And Jalen would have left. You see a lot of kids. I think a kid from Ohio State.
Yeah, seriously.
Leaving,
oh,
right?
Really?
I think there was a quarterback. He just put in his transfer papers because they brought in this superstar, freshman. Yeah, so he's like, oh, I'm going to be benched or whatever. Hell, the LSU. I'm an LSU fan, right? We got Joe Barrows from Ohio State. He wasn't going to get any reps. Y'all got some crazy sick quarterbacks. Yeah. So he left to come to LSU. Nick Saban is good enough to create a system and a community, a team that keeps a talented kid like Jalen Hurts from transferring.
Damn. I mean, They got to use so much motivation, so much vision, so much purpose. And I don't know. Going over this, it just made me realize I'm not doing that. I'm not creating this dream team bench, even though I'm not hiring. That's a problem. Made it probably a problem for a lot of our sales teams.
Because look, your worst people don't leave. Your best people leave.
Yep.
You know,
So
right
true.
now. So it's the off season. Everybody's shuffling, right? And I forget the numbers, but Nick Saban loses a lot of coaches every year, right? He's built a winning program, and people want what he's got. So they'll go steal the offensive coordinator, go steal the defensive coordinator, go steal the quarterback's coach. But he keeps winning.
To try to learn and get that, like,
for sure. You want to get close to the guru.
Yeah.
If you can't get the guru, get the guru's disciples.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's another secret. Can't get the guru, get the guru's disciples.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, but when you're at the top, you're a target, right? People are going to come for your people.
Yep.
You better be able to replace them.
And you know, so you did the sales at NetTest. You know, I know you did that for a few years, and then you went into another, like, totally different tech company, right? ClearCube or
Yep, I was with a couple of tech companies. The former president of NetTest became the CEO of ClearCube.
Oh, okay.
He was from Massachusetts, Connecticut area, but he ends up in Austin where I lived. And so
random.
Before my severance was up from NetTest, I got started with ClearCube.
That's amazing. And was it the same type of technology or totally different?
Totally different.
So,
but he knew I could sell.
I was about to say, dude, it seems like a MicroSecret is if you could sell, it doesn't matter what the product is. If you learn the system and you said the number one thing salesperson's job is a prospect. Like, how have you gone from freaking mobile homes? Let's take a step back. Surveying as a meteorologist, reading the weather. Like, I just think I see a big green screen, and I know that's not how it was, but every time you say that, I'm going to think of Wes, the sales whisperer back there. Hey, the clouds are coming over this. So you're literally, the weatherman, mobile homes to fiber optics. No, I'm sorry.
Weatherman, stocks and bonds, mobile homes, technology, different forms of technology. Well, recruiting, multiple forms of technology.
How do you like, A, not get scared to take on that job, and B, also quickly learn the industry, the tech, the market, so that you could sell as fast as possible? That's like really freaking hard.
Yes and no. I'm always curious. I tell people that the new ABCs of selling are not always be closing. It's always be curious, always be concise, always be courteous. Those are the new ABCs. And so having curiosity helps. Each time I was hired by good people, into a supportive structure. But still, it was, dude, you don't have to know very much to win at sales. Okay. And companies, and that's
what do you need to know, in your opinion?
You just gotta you gotta know how to sell. You don't have to know the product. Okay. And you need to know people. People are people. Because I always ask me, do I have a niche? Like, yeah, my niche is helping humans sell to humans. Okay. Doesn't matter. There's some nuances, little things you can pick up. But if I'm talking to a prospect and they're spending more time picking my brain and tearing apart my offering, if we spend more time on my offering versus their solution or their pain, they're not a fit. Okay. I've had surgery, broke my wrist, had hernia surgeries. I mean,
oh shit.
I don't
from
go into the
jiu-jitsu? Was that from jiu-jitsu?
No, younger. But I don't go to the doctor and go, what kind of scalpel do you use? Who makes the operating table? What kind of light are those LED lights you have up there? I'm not asking all that. I'm like, I'm in pain. Can you make the pain go away? Okay, good. Like I said, I'm looking for the guy looking for me. I don't want to explain what I do. I don't want to explain how I do it, because how I do it Does not matter. You know, my 14-year-old daughter turned 3 in the hospital. 15 days, an undiagnosed ruptured appendix. Took 11 days for them to figure it out.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, she's fine. But it was
Good.
terrible, right? My wife was 38 weeks pregnant. She spent 15 straight days in bed at the hospital with our 3-year-old. And so once they thought they knew and they recommended this surgeon, right? This surgeon, she had the bedside manner of Attila the Hun. I still can't tell you her name, but she was highly recommended. We're at Children's down in San Diego. She was trained at Johns Hopkins. They're like, she's the best. So I want the best. So people, they get too caught up in this know, like, and trust thing. I didn't know this woman and I did not like her, but I trusted her with my child's life because she came highly recommended. Okay. So number one, be trusted. Knowing and liking just makes it easier, but too many people focus on being liked or known. I have 100 million Instagram followers. Great. How do you monetize that? Okay. Are you trustworthy? So you gotta be trusted. And so from there, everything else falls into place. So ask good questions, focus on the prospect. If you can get them emoting, right?
Opening up. When you say, I've never heard of, emoting. I never heard that before. Sounds like emoji.
Yeah. So then you've got a prospect.
And you use that process, it sounds like, for every place that you worked. It doesn't matter if it's tech, stock, mobile homes. It doesn't matter.
It's universal. Obviously, the questions change based on the situation. But a good sales manager, again, can role play this out, give you a few set of questions, say, here's kind of how this is going to flow. Here's the path to take them down. Here's a bad indicator. Here's a positive indicator. Yep. Here's the phone. Get going.
What do you think are the most important discovery questions? Like, you know, I know in my sales team, my sales company, we only have 7. Like, I know, like, the minimum, maximum, right? What are the 20% of the questions that you need for 80% or whatever? Like,
yeah.
What are your favorite discovery questions? Because it sounds like everywhere you went, you did a really good job of understanding the needs of the customer, and then you knew where to guide them to help them find what they needed to maximize their success.
Yeah. Yeah, and it depends on, you know, are you calling them or are they calling you, right? How things get
inbound or outbound, yeah.
Yeah, and how do you position yourself? You know, are they seeing your marketing? Are you emailing? Are you mailing?
Well, I guess, like, let's just assume that this appointment's on your calendar. So you're going to do a demo of your tech. Maybe it was of X2 or a general.
Yeah, I hate doing demos. Okay. You can sell without demoing your product.
Yeah. We do it all the time. Like,
I sold mobile home. I had people come to the closing table and they'd look at the documents and go, oh, this is how much it costs. They didn't know the cost. They were coming to close. Okay. Because I knew for them, it was monthly payments. I'm like, yeah, we can do that, you know, when you want to come in. So same thing, selling Infusionsoft and HubSpot software. You know, people are like, oh, it takes days and weeks and months to talk to them and hours, demos. I'm like, no, they're too focused on the solution, you know, the ins and outs instead of the true solution, right? They're too focused on the speeds and feeds and the widgets.
Yeah.
You know,
and by the way, we're using WordPress right now, and I'm looking at changing for my SEO and all that jazz. So we'll have to have another conversation after this. Okay, so
I'm asking. So when I show up for a meeting,
yep,
I want to be invited over. I don't want to.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I literally want to be invited over. You know, if we're on a phone call, we're talking about issues. I'm like, look, Brandon, you know, I'm not sure if I can help you or not. But it sounds like, you know, there may be an opportunity for us to work together. I may have something that can help. If you'd like to invite me over for a short discovery call, short face-to-face, whatever, schedule a Zoom call or whatever, I'd be happy to dig in a little more, better understand the situation. If I think I can help, you know, I'll make a few recommendations, then you can decide how to move forward. Does that sound like a meeting you'd like to have? You're going to go, yeah. Okay, great. How's next week look? Early week is bad. How about Thursday? Thursday's fine. Morning or afternoon. Let's do the morning. Okay, great. What time? 9. Fine, whatever. 9 o'clock. I'll be there at 9. Hey, in the interest of time, would it make sense if we set a quick agenda for our time together? That way,
I love that.
That
that secret.
We get the best use of our time. Yeah, sure. Say, well, look, the number one reason we're meeting is to see if there's a fit. Is there chemistry? I have 2 simple ground rules. We're open and honest with each other, and either one of us can end the meeting at any time for any reason. There's no sense in us plowing through some boring meeting, you watching PowerPoints and flipping through brochures if there's not a fit. And if I hear something as well that is a deal breaker, I'll just tell you and we can wrap it up and get about our day. Does that sound like a meeting you'd like to have? You're going to go, yep.
Sounds awesome.
And so
I never heard anyone position it that way too, by the way. I love that, man.
And I'd say, look, I'm going to show up with more questions about your business than you probably ever thought possible. You may want to jot down a few for me. At the end of after I understand what's going on, I'll make a few recommendations if I think I can help. Then you decide what the next steps are, even if there are no next steps. Deal? Okay, great. I'll see you Thursday at 9. Then I email you that agenda.
Awesome.
Great talking with you. Look forward to seeing you at 9 o'clock. It's going to be you, your director of IT, your CFO will be there, and maybe Mary, the head of the data center. Here's the agenda. Let me know if you need to add anything to this. Then when I show up,
smart.
Hey, everybody, great to meet you. Do we still have an hour like we discussed? Yes, we do. But hey, where's Mary? Oh, she's running a little bit late. You said Mary was the deal breaker. You said Mary owns the data center. Is it really smart for us to start without Mary? I can wait. Can somebody page her and get Mary here?
Smart.
Okay. Don't let them start playing games. If it's not a priority to Mary, but Mary's the deal maker, right? Because you'll see that a lot of times.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you do there? Because everyone sees that, right? So, let's just say Mary's the VP, decision maker on this database deal, and then John, the database manager, is interested, but he's got no buying power. Would you meet?
We agreed to the meeting, right? We had an agenda. You invited me over. I'm going to draw the line. Say, you know what? It sounds like in the last week your priorities have changed. I understand. And like we said, hey, we agreed. We could end the meeting at any time. If this isn't a priority to you, I don't want to force this meeting. So should we reschedule or should we wait for Mary?
Got it. Now let's just assume that Johnny never required Mary to be there.
Okay.
So you're pitching Expo or X to a Genera, one of your former companies. Johnny's like, hey, man, I'm interested in meeting. Mary's the DM. He confirms it. She can't make it or whatever.
I'm not going to that meeting.
I was about to say, would you still try to meet with Johnny to learn and pitch him to become an influencer to get the meeting with Mary? No?
Yeah, as long as I understand that's what I'm doing. Okay. But in that case, all right, these lower people cannot say yes. They can only say no. So you got to be careful.
Because they'll just waste all your time.
Yeah. I am always calling in at multiple levels into a target account.
Okay.
I'm not just going straight to the top. I'm not going straight to the bottom. I'm going at all levels.
Yep.
In an ideal world, I get the C-suite. I'm sponsored. I'm pushed down. They do what the boss says. Yeah, that's an ideal world, and that's super easy. But sometimes you got to get sponsored.
Yep.
Okay. But so you got to know that going in.
And your recommendation is hit it from all angles.
Right.
But if they wanted to meet, and even if the DM wasn't available or just wasn't ready for it.
If we had an agreed upon meeting.
Oh yeah. For that, I totally get it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're trying to win this account.
Right.
Mary's got no time for anything. She's busy with, let's just say, Q4 wrap up. Johnny, the database manager's interested. He knows that he's got no buying power, but he's close with Mary, and he wants to, if he likes what he sees from you, Wes, he'll pitch it to Mary. Would
Sure.
you demo him and then try to get him as the sponsor to Mary?
Yeah. Yeah, I might for sure. But again, I'm talking with him. I'm like, hey, when it comes to making a decision like this, when it comes to evaluating new hardware solutions for your data center, who on your team makes these decisions? Right. So I've already asked that question. Hey, man, I source the information. I make the recommendations. The boss usually goes with my recommendation, but we got to get the boss to buy off, and it goes through me. Okay. Now I got to make that decision. All right. It sounds legit. Sounds like it gave me an honest answer. Now, what I might do is when I email him, I'll CC the boss, or I'll email the boss privately. Hey, Mary, next week I'm meeting with John. We've had a great discussion so far. We're going to be reviewing this, that, and the other for the data center. If you have time, you can stop by, or if I can stop by and say hello, shake your hand, before or after. Please let me know. But it's been productive so far. I look forward to working with your company. So give some kudos to John. Pat him on the back, keep the boss informed.
Yep.
It greases the skids for me to stop in and say hello and put a face in the name. So that's viable as well.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It basically says you do all the above, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which makes total sense. And when it came to, so Wes, you gave a ton of secrets throughout all of that section. I love that, man. You are a wisdom, sales secret, MicroSecret machine right now, and I love it. I know I'm learning a lot of shit that I never even thought of, the way that you spin it and the way that you describe it. So you followed your boss, and he went to the ClearCube. You did that for 3 years, so I assume that was you were a channel partner. You guys sold the hardware, software, professional services for the region. I think for HP and Dell and Gateway and Toshiba, right?
No. We competed with them.
Got it. Oh, okay. You competed.
We were the upstart, startup David versus Goliath. We sold through channel. I sold direct. I also sold through channel partners.
Okay. So you had this hardware. Oh, were you selling the Siebel CRM or no? What were you selling there?
No. It was just a hardware software solution. So we were competing we were trying to displace IBM and
Got it.
Dell and HP.
Yeah. And I used to work at IBM, so I totally get that. Okay, cool. And you did that for 3 years. And what was the biggest takeaway that you had out of ClearCube? The biggest secret failure, MicroSecret that you took away?
I don't know. It was a lot of more of the same.
Everything that we're covering, basically.
Yeah, I was successful there.
Then went on to.
It
looks like at Genera. That was a few months. Oh, go ahead. You were about to say something.
Yeah, I guess one thing is one of my largest accounts. I really got in deep because of the secretary of an office. So make friends with everybody.
Hold on, you got into a massive account because of why?
I didn't get into it, but I got deeper into it. So it was a key account I was targeting. But you show up, and there's always the executive assistant, right?
Yep.
Oh, you better make sure you're early, right? Oh, hey, the boss will see you in a minute. Can I get you some coffee? You like some water? Blah blah. Okay, great. So. Make nice with the receptionist, make nice with the people that set the appointments, because you never know. But a true executive assistant, a true executive assistant knows the boss. Okay, they know his or her mood. Is it their anniversary? Are they making their numbers? Is there a challenge going on? So be nice to everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a less a MicroSecret in life.
Yeah.
Dude, people are going through so much shit. You just said your daughter had to go to the hospital to get her appendix, or what was that again?
Yeah, 11 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're right. You're like, that didn't happen yesterday. When that did happen, and I tried to prospect you, and you were maybe upset or angry or in a bad mood or stressed, dude, you just don't know what anyone's going through.
Everybody's going through crap. There's always something, right? I got 7 kids, nice, and a wife and a dog. Dude. There's always something.
Always something going on. You might as well be nice to people And
yeah, and people, I just had a guy on my podcast. We just published it this morning. Craig Ballantyne. He sent me this big package, and it's literally sat on my desk for 18 months. I wanted to get to him. I just couldn't.
wow. What was the
So
package?
I wasn't blowing him off.
Was it like a pitch packet or like a thank you packet? What do you mean?
Yeah, basically, he's got a book and a whole program. He just sent me his whole kit, just
Got it.
cold, to get on my show. And
that's a good good
and so
prospecting approach.
I should have had him on right away, but I just didn't. So
You're busy. You had shit going on.
everybody's busy. We're distracted. Blah blah blah. So you got to be professionally persistent, right?
Yep. And okay, so then you go to X2 Technology. And by the way, like the next few places you go to, it looks like you move more into like really focused on CRM marketing automation. So then you go to like Expo and Commerce Bank of Temecula Valley, and then you become a HubSpot partner. Like, and then you wrote a book on Infusionsoft, and I'm like, hold on, like what the fuck? This guy, so he's a sales performer that then like you always loved entering shit in the database because you wanted to make sure you got your commissions and you wanted to make sure
I didn't love it, but it protected my income. So
it protected your income. You got to do what protects that.
I started to love it because it protected my income.
You have to. And why wouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, that would be lazy or dumb, one of the two, if you didn't. So you then went to Expo, network and measurement systems, right? Large data centers for Google, Facebook, eBay, all those guys.
Yeah, and Expo was a competitor of NetTest, but NetTest went away. So a lot of NetTest guys ended up at Expo.
Okay, cool. And then after that, you went to Temecula Valley, right?
Well, I was just on the board and just as a consultant.
You were on the board. So at Expo, anything else that you learned, like that you took away from selling at Expo?
No, I mean, it was more the same.
More the same.
It was still connections, right? I never burned any bridges. So, I got great offers all the time because I had great relationships.
That's awesome. And then you then you kind of got into, after that, becoming a certified inbound marketing person. HubSpot, Infusionsoft, wrote the book on Infusionsoft. And then you kind of went on to basically coaching small businesses and entrepreneurs to automate their sales and marketing. Like, how did you transition into that from selling, and like, how did that happen?
Well, sales and marketing are two sides of the same coin. So I actually discovered.
I completely agree with you on that statement. By the way.
I mean, I discovered Dan Kennedy and his marketing.
You said copywriting earlier, so I was going to ask you about Dan.
Yeah, so I discovered him, and
the sales.
I was a fan of his back in 07, 08, and he came to California to speak during an Infusionsoft 4-city tour. So I went to meet Dan Kennedy, and then saw the power of Infusionsoft. And I was like, hey, this stuff looks good. It can help me automate things, grow my sales without growing my staff. So
makes sense.
I jumped in, but then they had a partner program, brand new partner program. I was in the second class. And I got into that really out of my own self-interest, right? Back then, it was half the price to become a partner than it was to buy the software. And then if you pass the certification, you got a free account. So I was like, okay, I can pass the test. And I went out to Phoenix for 5 days, passed the test, still have a free account 10 years later.
Wow.
And then I liked their affiliate program. It was one of the first affiliate programs I got involved in, because as a partner, you got 20% recurring commissions.
Nice. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And my wife was like, oh, whoop-de-doo, $60, right? Because back then it was $5,000 down, $299 a month for a 5-user seat license. But you sell hundreds of those and you get $60, forever. It gets really nice.
Dude, it adds up huge.
Yeah. And so I became one of their top sellers, and because, everybody was technologically oriented.
Like while you were, now was this going on while you were working, like doing both?
I was on my own for a while. I went back into tech sales. I was recruited back in. And so I went back to corporate America a couple of times after I started the Sales Whisperer.
Got it.
But yeah, I always kept the Sales Whisperer going. And that was a nice thing because I knew how to write. So I could build tutorials and blog posts and stuff.
It's awesome.
Even as a W-2 employee. I could do that at night and weekends. So I just built up my body of work and it's got more and more business. So then by 2011, I had the idea to write a book on Infusionsoft because nobody had done it. And I had never written a book. But I saw the opportunity and I did it, set a goal and then go do it. And it was hard, but I did it.
Wow. Yeah. And was the book hard? Like, because you already had all the blogs, so you probably could have just taken all that content. What made you get into writing, by the way? Like, salespeople
just knew it was a great way. It differentiates you. It separates you from the pack.
Okay.
So
that's a secret. So you start to become passionate about, you knew that to protect your income, you had to do CRM. Then you start to see the power of like automating marketing and sales. So you knew like Infusionsoft was getting big and HubSpot was getting big. So you become this certified and you start reselling for both of these, right?
Yeah, I kick myself in the ass all the time. I mean, it took me 5 years to see the value of HubSpot.
So like when you were saying like you're comparing Infusionsoft and HubSpot and it took you a long time to see the value of HubSpot.
Yeah. I mean, I was too entrenched in one camp to see the value of another. You can drive a Ford and still appreciate, Ford or Chevys or Dodges, because because HubSpot's the deal. They're more expensive, but they do more.
Interesting. And I'm really excited. I'm not going to dive too far into that right now, but I'm excited to pick your brain on that because we need to dive into it. When it comes to, okay, now you've been running, how long have you been running the Sales Whisperer on your own? Like full time, I mean.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I started in 2008. I mean, I was full time, even back then, and went back and forth a couple of times, but I mean, at least, 8 years.
Dude, that's awesome. And I love your website, your sales funnels. I think your speaking kit and the press and everything is awesome. I was telling my guys, I was like, dude, Wes did a really good job here. Like, if I ever wanted to hire him, I totally get it quickly. You've got the blog, that's great. You've got the books, The Sales Whisperer Way. What are some micro secrets that you learned running your own company for the past 5 years, 8 years full time? And then let's get into your top sales secret.
Well, we kind of talked about some of them, but your employees are not going to care as much about your business as you do.
Which is tough, right?
So just understand it. I mean, it's not tough. It just is.
It's just like a fact. Like
if they cared as much, they'd go start their own business. So if you get somebody that's super motivated and leads your company colors, support them. Okay. Give them what they need to succeed because those people are rare. You can delegate authority. I'm sorry. You can delegate responsibility. No, I always get this wrong. You think I'd get this right after 20 something years of saying it. You can delegate authority. You can't delegate responsibility. Okay. So I can give you authority to go negotiate on my behalf. I can give you the authority to test a new software or bring something on. I could give you the authority to hire and fire, but it's my company. I'm responsible. Okay. If you hire a knucklehead and they piss off a customer, I got to clean it up. I'm responsible for that. Okay. Yes, the knucklehead did it, but it's my company.
Yeah. You got to assume responsibility for everything is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like my children have authority to drive cars.
Yep.
Right. They crash and, and one of my kids did. Well, I'm responsible. I'm paying the bills. So understand what that means. Okay, delegating, and learn how to delegate, and that's hard. I mean, giving stuff away, man, get it off your plate. It's hard.
Yep.
But if you're going to grow, you gotta learn how and what to give away. But you can't expect what you don't inspect.
You can't expect what you don't inspect.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, if I expect you to hit your quota, right? You got 7 salespeople, each of them have a quota. So I can't expect you to hit your quota if I'm not spot checking you. Too many companies are like, well, I hired them, they have their quota. It's their responsibility. Well, good luck with that. They're going to hit roadblocks. They're going to be embarrassed. They don't want to come to you and bother you too much. So problems fester.
I like that. Inspect before you expect.
Yeah.
Too many sales teams, I feel like, do just expect without inspecting. Oh, why aren't you hitting your quota? Why aren't you hitting your quota? Why aren't you hitting your number? It's like, well, Dick, you didn't provide us with the scripts on how to handle objections, the role playing, the strategy, the cadence, the process. I mean, they don't know that that's what they're missing, but probably someone like you can see when people aren't hitting their number and the leader isn't doing those inspecting elements. It's probably a big micro secret.
Well, it is, but we talked about it before that because companies usually don't have processes, the number one salesperson became the sales manager, and they became number one just because they hustled and they were aggressive and impatient, didn't really have a system. They were just tenacious. They were willing to skip dinners and family vacations and kids' plays and games to make it. Well, that doesn't scale. But now they don't know what to inspect because they didn't give them anything. They didn't give them a script. They didn't give them a process. They didn't give them systems. They just said, grind it out, hustle, 10X, baby. Whatever. That doesn't scale. So they don't know what to inspect. So it's, again, they don't have leading indicators. They have lagging indicators. Yeah, Joe, it's, the quarter ends next week and you're only at 15% of your quota. How are you going to make that up? Lie, steal, and cheat? I don't know. So they don't have systems in place.
Lie, steal, and cheat. Yeah.
So they have nothing to inspect.
That's awesome, man. So, okay. Well, this has been incredible. I mean, taking us through the beginning till today, right?
Yep.
And Wes, you've learned so much. So now we're at the big final event, my man. Sales Secrets from the Top 1%, where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success. Wes, if you had to go back in time to when you first started in sales, if you had to hire someone, give them one thing, the one secret to maximize their sales success, what is your sales secret?
Well, it's tough. I say be a product of the product. But most companies, they don't have a good system to help you be a product of the product. But, talking about like with Oakwood Homes, I was fortunate. They did. I was a product of their system, right? I didn't buy a mobile home and live in it, but I was a product of their sales system and product. And I stuck to it. So
this is like the recurring theme, man. I love this secret. Like, you don't hear a lot of people, and I want you to explain this, which you have like throughout this interview, but go ahead, keep going. I'm not going to interrupt. No one cares about my thoughts.
Yeah, but I mean, that's it. Like doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, my instructor, he's 53 years old. He's done this since he was 19. And, when I first got started, I thought he was like a magician or, I don't know, a Wiccan, right? I thought he had like a deal with the devil. He's like just so good. And he's like, look, man, I just failed more, right? I failed more than you've tried, and now 2 years into it, I see it. And that's kind of the progression. You start and you get destroyed and you don't know why you're getting destroyed. Then you get destroyed and you recognize why you're getting destroyed. Then you stop getting destroyed. Then you start to destroy others. You got to go through that progression. And so they'll call it you're unconsciously incompetent, right? Then you're consciously incompetent. You know what you don't know. So in the beginning, you don't know what you don't know. Then you know what you don't know. Then you start to know. Then you start to apply. And so, you go through this progression. So hopefully you get with a company that has a good system, a good platform,
Good process.
good process. They can nurture you through it, but it's hard. A lot of them don't. But if you find a good one, work their system. But you know what? Even if it's a bad one, you don't know for sure, but you can't complain about it until you do it.
Yep.
Okay. And fail. It's like, look, boss, I followed your recommended procedure to the letter. Maybe we should change the process. Okay, that's going to be a difficult conversation to have. If you've got a good boss, they'll let you adjust it. If it's a bad boss, then you'll know you're in a bad place. It's time to move. But at least you can leave with a good conscience. Hey, I did everything they said. It's a bad system.
Wow. How do you get over your gut? Like every time I get a system, every time I get a process where I try to change it, it bit me in the ass. Like I remember I read 10 books. So like I'm the CEO of Seamless.AI, the world's best sales leads. We help sales teams book 300% more appointments and demos scheduled, right? And when I've never raised venture capital funding before, and I'm like, oh, I'm a sales guy. Like I'll just fucking prospect 1,000 VCs and book appointments. And before that, I read 10 books on venture funding. All the books said, do not cold prospect venture capitalists. They don't trust anyone. And I'm like, nah, I built a sales platform. They're going to love it. Like, and guess what? I prospected them. I booked a shitload of appointments. I closed it millions by prospecting, but a lot of VCs also didn't do the deal with me because they're like, we've never done a deal with anyone that cold prospected us. We can't do it. They're like, just because of our fear of doing a deal from cold that wasn't from our network, because all the books and everyone knows if you want money, you got to go through your network. You got to ask for advice. There's like all these books give you the formula.
You should have asked them early on, Hey, I like what I'm hearing. Say, it's wonderful, but I got one key question.
Yep.
I've been told that companies like you don't do deals with somebody that cold prospected them. Are you, is that your set in stone? Can never deviate from policy, or are you open-minded enough to realize maybe there's an exception to that rule?
Totally. No, it's a great question. You got to qualify that deal or disqualify that deal for sure.
Right?
But what I was saying was like, there's a lot of people like me that have made those mistakes of, oh no, like the author of 10 different books, the authors of 10 different VC books don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to do my own thing. And how do you? What's your like feedback or recommendations for people like me who have always tried to not follow the system like you have? Because that's your secret. Follow the system. Follow the process.
Yeah, for every story, every rule, there's a story that goes against it, right? I always tell people, if you listen to me more than 5 minutes, you'll hear me contradict myself. Right. George Bernard Shaw said, something to the effect of, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man adapts the world to himself. Therefore, all progress is due to the unreasonable man.
Yep.
So it's just, I don't know, gut feeling, intuition, doing it long enough that when it's time to challenge the status quo. But there's still, you look like Eddie Bravo. He's the big jiu-jitsu guy, 10th Planet. He beat Royler Gracie. He had a whole new game, right? But he didn't invent it from scratch. He mastered the fundamentals of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, then modified it. Like we learned in the military, there's this general, and he's reprimanding this young brash lieutenant, who's just critiquing the hell out of this war plan. This is wrong. That's wrong. Who must be blind idiots, coming up with this. Here's why this will fail. And, the general pulls him aside and is like, you got to learn how to deliver your message. And it's like, sir, you can't tell me you made general, by kissing people's ass and being politically correct and smoothing everything over. And he's like, no, but it is how I made colonel. Right? So he worked inside of the system until he got a high enough rank that he could then make the decisions and buck the trends. Right? So you gotta learn the system before you can beat the system.
Gotta learn the system before you can beat the system.
Right.
Yeah, and you said you gotta inspect before you expect. And then you also said something earlier about and I don't want to interrupt your thought process. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You said something about like, learning the system before you can what was that quote? Learn the system before you can change it or beat it.
Yeah, and you can argue against that, right? Some will say, well, Donald Trump is outside of the system. The system's broken. You got to come from out in. So, okay, yeah, that works too.
Yep.
But in general, and of course, people will always pull up that one exception. Look at Steve Jobs. Great. There was one Steve Jobs. Everybody else made great things. They figured it out, then they improved it. So
good. And you said like earlier, don't practice, drill, and rehearse. Rookies practice until they get it. Pros practice until they get it. Yeah, until they get it right.
Practice till they can't get it wrong.
Till they can't get it wrong.
Everybody's looking for a shortcut, man. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut.
Wow. So you just have to practice. You have to master it, and you can't change it until you learn and master.
Yeah.
And you know the full inspection of the process.
Right.
And what do you got to do to master it? Because like, let's just say, you and I both know because we study and we obsess over sales. You've got books on it in sales. You've got podcasts and blogs. Same here on my end. Like, how do you define master? Like, what is mastering and how do you do it?
Well, that's that unconsciously competent. So you can, mastery is being able to do it without thinking about it.
Okay.
So it takes time. I don't care if you're a bricklayer, a musician, a coder. Can you do it without thinking about it?
Do you feel like you're a master at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
No.
Do you feel like you're a master at sales?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to feel like you're how much time from beginning of sales to end of sales till you were a master, you think?
So I was in sales full time for 9 years when I hired a coach.
Oh, nice.
And then I worked with him almost exclusively and full time for 2 years.
Was he a game changer for you?
Game changer. And so.
Why?
He gave me a system.
Got it. So before that, you didn't have like a system or a process?
Before that, I just hustled. I was young. I was aggressive. Can-do attitude, all that stuff. I would read, I would learn, I would apply, but I was just pulling things in, right? Like I'm a short order cook and just like, hey, I learned you can do something with celery. Let's chop up some celery and throw that in. I mean, like, what?
Got it. No strategy, like all micro tactics.
Just, yeah. Steve taught me a true system that applies just to everything. So I was in sales for 11 years before I'd say I was truly a master.
Wow. So you got what, 8 more years to go in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, I've got it's an 11-year plan to hit black belt.
Is it seriously, does it take 11 years to hit black belt?
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's not these things you see with kids and, pay a couple bucks and 2 years later you're a black belt.
You get a trophy.
It's like,
you get a trophy just for showing up, right?
Yeah, and the longer you do jiu-jitsu, the longer you want to wait to get the next promotion. You just
get your ass kicked?
You just don't feel worthy. I mean, it's just so hard.
Why is it so hard? Like different moves or like?
Oh, yeah. Because it's real world, man. And there's too many examples. You see, back in the day, schools would challenge one another. They would literally just show up at another school and go, I hear you're talking crap about us. Let's fight.
Damn. This is like Fight Club.
Yeah, it was literally like Fight Club. And but then there's just so many examples. I mean, the whole UFC was started by the Gracies. And the father had his smaller sons compete, so nobody could say, well, yeah, you beat the boxer, you beat the karate guy, because he was bigger. So he put his smaller sons in to destroy bigger opponents, because it just works. But it's leverage, it's technique. If I'm 225 pounds, if I boxed my instructor who's 165 pounds.
Yeah, I'm 155, 160.
Okay, just pure physics, I'm probably going to beat his ass.
Yeah, you're going to whoop my ass, for sure.
It's just...
I could run faster, though.
Yeah, as long as I, don't let you get a clean uppercut and knock me out, right? It's just physics. It's a bigger guy is going to win. But, in jiu-jitsu, smaller guys beat bigger guys all the time because it's much more technique, and that technique just takes time. It takes time to master, because you got to learn every scenario. Because I'll always ask my instructor, well, hey, what about this? He's like, well, don't let that happen. I'm like, great. Now give me the answer, right? And of course, don't get in that situation. But if you're in that situation, here's what you do. But then
it sounds like jiu-jitsu is just like freaking sales. They seem so damn similar, dude. You said that it takes 10, 11 years to master selling. You got to learn it, and you got to master it, and you got to practice it. Stop trying to change the process before you've learned it and you've mastered it. And mastery means you do it without even having to think. Yeah. And you could use jiu-jitsu as a framework. It will take you 10 to 11 years to master.
And even guys that are black belts are like, I don't feel worthy. They're like, I remember I was probably doing this for about 6 months, and we had a guest instructor come, and they'll do that from time to time. Guys travel and they'll invite them in.
Oh, that's sick. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's almost like a guest speaker or you keynoting.
Yeah. And this guy was showing us a set of moves. And one of our black belts, I'm just idolizing this guy, right? He's like, wow, can you show that again? I was like, you haven't seen that? Like, nope, never seen that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's been training 12 or 14 years at least, right? And I'm like,
you're like, how have you not seen this?
Yeah, it's just, there's so many things to learn, and it evolves. People are inventing new things. Like talking about that guy, Eddie Bravo, it was, I don't know exactly. I wasn't into all this.
Right.
I wasn't a UFC guy. I still don't know UFC people and MMA and all. I watch it because guys that I train with now will have a party and, hey, we're going to order the fight, so I'll go over. I don't know anybody. It wasn't my world. I went because my friend invited me. And so to see people go 14 years and not know this move, right? But it's evolving, right? So like Eddie Bravo, 10 years ago or however long it was, he beat one of the Gracie sons. But again, going back, he mastered traditional jiu-jitsu, and then he made his own flavor. Okay, the whole 10th planet, it's a whole different style, kind of like a West Coast or, run and gun kind of offense, in football versus a power eye, Midwestern style approach. Well, which one's better? I don't know. Kind of comes and goes, right? Football now is a lot faster, no huddle offense, a lot of passing, but that'll probably change over time. People figure it out and go back to power football. Can you control the ball? Can you run it up the middle? Can you control the clock? So which one's better? Well, right now, probably the faster offense. But that's the same with jiu-jitsu. It evolves, man. So that's what keeps it fresh too.
Yep.
And even after years, guys they're showing up 3 and 5 times a week, getting after it.
Wow. That's insane. So learn, master, train, always work to improve. You're never going to know everything. And as long as you go into it, it sounds like as long as you go into it with that expectation and that's what I did with my company. Thank God I did this. I launched this company and I'm like, it's going to take 10 years. So many entrepreneurs quit or give up because they underestimate the amount of work, time, money, risk, problems. And this is my third company and my fifth job in sales. So I just knew like it's going to be hell. It's going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. I'll do it all out for 10 years. And that way, if we get to 10 and it doesn't work, then we give it our all. Like, how have you, any tips to build that, I guess, that understanding or that mastery of the long-term mindset before we call it a day?
No, I haven't approached it like that. I haven't approached my business like that. Mine, I was just stubborn and frustrated with corporate America and the bosses, and being in high tech, there was just a ton of turnover. I was 30% over quota when I got let go from that test.
Hold on, how much? Like 130 over quota?
Yeah, I was at 130% of quota and got let go.
Did everyone get let go, or they just let you go because of politics
they
or
were
whatever?
being downsized, right? It's just the .com bubble was bursting, and we hung on as long as we could. So with all this turmoil, I'm like, I'm disciplined. I'm crazy enough to do this, and I hired a coach. I didn't just go wing it. I invested in his system and his support. So I didn't say like, I'm going to go for a year or 5 or 10. I was just like, things are up and down and uncertain in corporate America. Okay, I'll just go be up and down and uncertain, but at least I'll be betting on myself. So, that's how I jumped into it.
Wow.
Here we are 12 years later.
It's amazing, man. And how do we title this chapter for this secret? For master the process. Well, how about we call it master the process?
Sure.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, Wes Schaeffer, dude, I've written down like 3 or 4 pages worth of like straight fire 1-sentence liners, paragraphs. I love taking the notes because
send them to me, because this stuff rattles off my head. Like, I'm not kidding with people. Can you repeat that? I'm like, I cannot repeat that.
Yeah, you're like, I have no idea what I just said. Yeah, that's what happens to me all the time. So like that's why now I record everything I do. Sure. I got mad cameras everywhere. Because I'm worried that I'm gonna say something that's straight fire that I'll forget, not be able to train my team, and then not be able to share with others.
Because you do.
But Wes Schaeffer, man, thank you so much for the time today. The sales whisperer, storyteller, expert in marketing, optimization of CRMs, flapper of gums, vet, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, soon to be black belt in I think like 8 or 9 more years. Where can people follow you, subscribe, connect with you, my man, to learn more?
thesaleswhisperer.com.
salesmanwhisperer.com. And you're on LinkedIn too, right?
Sure.
LinkedIn, thesaleswhisperer.com.
I'm on YouTube, Instagram, the Facebook.
Awesome, dude, well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on this show. Thank you so much. Go to his site, thesaleswhisperer.com, thesaleswhisperer.com. Sign up for all his great content. Buy his books on Amazon.
No, buy them from me, man.
Oh, yeah.
On the website. I'll sign them for you.
They take 40%. They take 40%. So
30 or 40%, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy high. So actually, yeah, buy it on the website.
And I don't know who you are. That's the other thing.
I hate that
Amazon
they don't give you that.
Share the info.
Bastards. Bezos is smart, though. He wants to keep that info. Except for the divorce. That will cost him a pretty penny.
It'll cost him some money.
Yeah. But anyways, audience, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Sales Secrets from the Top 1%, where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success. Order a copy of the book at secretsalesbook.com. That's secretsalesbook.com. secretsalesbook.com. Thank you for tuning in, and subscribe, follow, connect with us at secretsalesbook.com for more of your favorite top secret sales episodes where the world's best sales experts share their secrets to sales success.